Okay, we are here with, of course, Mr. Johnny Damon. Johnny, obviously spent time with Kansas City. That's why you're here for today. Had a great Major League Baseball career. What is it like to look around this room, and even though you don't know everybody in it, you guys are all Hall of Famers?
Oh, it's fantastic, and thank you to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for thinking about us. I mean, it's been a little while, and I'm glad that my contributions to the Royals for 9 seasons, a lot of my numbers still are pretty high with the Royals, and I had a great time. I mean, to be drafted by my childhood team and the reason why I wanted to play baseball was because of the Royals winning the 1985 World Series, seeing George Brett hoist the trophy, and I looked at my brother and told him, this is exactly what I want to do. And fortunately, I was able to get to the big leagues and able to win a couple championships, so it was, wanted to win with Kansas City, but at the time we had one of the best offenses. We just didn't have the pitching to go with it, but I was so happy when they ended up winning in 2015, and so proud of them coming back and fighting and clawing, and that's the Kansas City mentality that they brought with me when I signed with the Royals. It was, you have to learn how to do everything. You have to learn how to bunt. You have to learn how to steal, run bases. And fortunately for me, I was coached very well down in Florida, and I already had a lot of those attributes, but they want to make sure that everyone can do anything necessary to win, and that's a big reason why they did come back and win in 2015.
Now, last year, George Brett, the man you just mentioned, did come into this very hall as well, so you also get to share that honor with him. But seriously, when you look around the room and you get to be a part of people who you don't know, but you respect all the hard work they did for whether it's a high school program or college, why is it that hard work has to carry you to the success you desire?
Oh, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I mean, everyone in here going into the Hall of Fame, present and past, and in the future, I mean, you have to bring your A game every single moment of every single day. And if you don't, you can't feel sorry for yourself. You always have to bring it every single time. And I tried to do that as much as I could. We have so many baseball games over the course of a season and over the course of my career that, the guy standing on the mound is trying to bring his A game too. That makes it very difficult for us to sometimes get the job done, but you keep plugging away. And I think baseball is one of those sports where it's a failure sport, and we're losing a lot of our kids in the U.S. playing baseball because they don't know how to pick themselves up after having some failure. And baseball players, they're all pretty cool guys because we've been knocked down, and we've had the best games, but then you get knocked down again. So that's what makes baseball very special, and just happy to be here today.
Now, you along with, of course, Matt Adams, who played for St. Louis, the other favorite Missouri team going in. You mentioned baseball being a failure sport, right? 3 out of 10 and you're a Hall of Famer. Any other sport, you're packing your bags to not even the minor leagues. Why is it that the values of failure like that, like you just mentioned, why is it that those who find ways to embrace failure are more successful than those who don't?
Well, no one likes to be knocked down, but in other sports, failure can happen on one play, and then you can pick yourself on the next play. Like, we have to sit around and wait and think about, oh my God, I missed that pitch right down the middle. But you also know that there's many ways to come around and do your very best. Like, your best swing ever in baseball could turn into a line drive out to the second baseman, and your worst swing ever can turn into a bases clearing duck fart to the left field line, and you score 3 runs. And so you have to take the good with the bad, and fortunately I've been able to do that. I wish we had playoff appearances when I was with Kansas City, but they did teach me how to grow up. I mean, I was 21 years old. I would have been a junior in college at the time if I decided to go to the University of Florida, but I knew Kansas City had some bigger plans for me, and I'm glad that I played on 4 teams in the minors over 3 seasons, got to win 2 championships for them in the minors, got to meet some friends that I'm going to have forever, like Mike Sweeney, Jermaine Dye, Michael Tucker. It was just a great time, and I pretty much call that my college years.
My only other question on top of his is, how important do you think it is having recognitions and ceremonies like this, Hall of Fame, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's very important. So people don't forget about you, because everyone in Kansas City knew I was a fan favorite, that I was the young kid who was going to help come in and replace George Brett. Unfortunately, I had a really good year, my 6th year in the big leagues, and they couldn't afford me anymore. They wanted to sign me, but the issue was, if we signed you, we're going to have to trade Mike Sweeney and or Jermaine Dye, and that's never a situation you want to put yourself into. Like, I'm going to think about myself, and whatever happens to them, that's not me. So I told the team, whatever you had to do. I know it's not a very popular thing, but I also knew that this was the business. I mean, we got to see a huge trade in basketball recently, and unfortunately, this is how it goes. No one's untouchable anymore.
Johnny, what's your favorite baseball memory?
My favorite baseball memory, obviously winning World Series, but there's been so many tremendous moments, like getting called up to the big leagues from AA. Never having to go back and play a minor league game, because I only went on the DL one time, but that was during the All-Star break. My 6-for-6 game against the Royals when I was with the Yankees. I mean, over a 9-inning game. Had some big moments in the postseason, like 2 home runs against the Yankees in 04. Also the double steal against the Phillies in the World Series helped propel us to winning the Yankees' 27th and so far their last World Series. But the camaraderie with the guys, I mean, getting called up to the big leagues was a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I just came from AA to the big leagues. I never had a spring training with the big club. So I'm walking into a clubhouse and Vince Coleman is getting released, and he was one of my childhood heroes, and I'm taking his job in the big leagues. So that was a strange moment. And when I say I never had a big league spring training, is there was a strike going on that year, but they also didn't bring in young guys for spring training. Like, you might see guys on different fields or whatnot, but the game has changed, and I think that was a moment where I was like, man, I'm still a kid, and I'm amongst men right now. Walking into the clubhouse, you got Gary Gaetti, you got Wally Joyner, you got Jeff Montgomery, and you're like, okay, these guys have been in the big leagues for a while. A couple of them won World Series, and that's exactly what I'm here to try to do.